Never know.
Live. I
You
finally
saw it.
saw it before you did.
Hey, how are you doing, Megan?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Here we are, my new office, part of my new office. I'm
I
trying to
love the
find the
wallpaper.
best. Faith and I picked that out, because the orange in the other office, I was like, I don't want to go without the orange. So we found some paper that had orange in it, and it's like I don't know what color, like a slate blue maybe. And
Mhm.
then carpet's gray, and yeah, so it's fun. And my old chairs, those teal chairs I had, they're in here too. And it's a little more like closed in. We have one window
Uh-huh.
that goes out to the warehouse behind Faith's desk, but that's it. So we're kind of calling it the cave now, but it's all right. And we're far away from everyone else, so we get a lot of work done, which is the best thing about it. So
Well, that's great. I was gonna say, is it weird being in somewhere new, but I guess if you're more productive there, then
yeah, and
that's
it's good
good.
because I can constantly be like teaching Faith, what I'm doing and showing her and stuff, because before I was isolated in my office and she was out at reception, and she'd get bogged down with all that stuff all day long, and we were barely
Mhm.
doing any accounting together. So they're going to be the future, so we got to get them up to speed.
Yeah.
So I can retire one day. I don't think David will ever retire though, so I don't know. So what's going on with you? I love your outfit. I love it so much. You get this good
Thank
girl vibe
you.
going on.
I'm always a good girl.
Yeah. I like that. Cute. It's so cute.
Everything's good. I'm so happy. There's nothing new going on. I'm just happy and enjoying life, and
What a concept, right?
yeah,
I'm
it's
just
very
happy.
nice.
Yeah.
It's
No
unusual.
drama. Yeah. It's a good thing. It's so good. Are you sleeping?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm
I would
sleeping
think
better
so.
than I have. I don't even know when I've slept this well. I used to stay up to like 3 in the morning and wake up at
I
like
know.
7. Now I go to sleep maybe like at 10 o'clock on weeknights and wake up around 7. So I'm
Yeah.
sleeping so much more and I love
Yeah.
it. It's nice.
Because you're happy and content. Isn't that something? What
Yes.
stress does to your body?
Yeah. What's new
Crazy.
with you?
Not a whole lot, honestly. I've just doing my thing here, working and getting ready for the signing in Vegas, and then the signing in on Orlando. I was going to say Ontario. Oh, that's something new and exciting. I signed up and it's official. I'm going to sign at the Romancing the Falls. So we'll finally get
Yeah,
to meet all our friends up in Canada, and I cannot wait. I just can't wait. I can't wait to see Canada. I can't wait to, because I've never been there. So I'm looking forward to that.
that will be nice.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get swag ordered and that kind of thing. And writing, of course, I'm working on Jacob's second book, and
Okay.
I haven't gotten edits back from the first one yet, but they usually roll in right when as I'm wrapping up the next one. So then I have to stop what I'm doing and shift back and remember what the hell was going on back then.
Yeah.
But it's kind of good when it comes in like that, because then I'm reminded, and it's easier to make sure everything's, lining up and consistent if I have it right, at the same time. But because you know what, I end up reading and then I get lost in reading, and then I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be writing. Just, put it down. But I'll end up reading like 5 chapters when I was just looking up one thing. I do that all
Mhm.
the time, but I'm easily distracted. So
Me
it's part of
too.
the deal. God, it's bad. So bad. Oh, but so you said it's cold by you, not here,
Yes,
94 degrees today.
that is crazy. Well,
Yeah.
not really, I guess, for the time of year for Southern California. That's
Yeah.
always how it is.
But it was over 100. It was like 118 one day in Temecula. 118.
Oh
That
my
was
gosh.
crazy. And then, of course, everything started burning, as soon as that started. I think it burned for like 2 days, and then the rain came. So we got really lucky, the people that were in danger, because there were a lot of houses involved. So out in Hemet, between Hemet and Anza, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so, but the rain took care of it, so they got lucky. But other than that, not much. The same old thing, working and writing and working and writing.
Yep.
My thing here. I don't know. Have you started shopping for Christmas? Do you do that? Do you shop like
No, oh my
early?
gosh, I haven't even thought about it.
I know, but it'll be here before you know it. I have not either, but I bought Faith something and I gave it to her. So I was like, I wanted to give it to her too. I
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
wait. So I ended up giving it to her the day it came in the mail. I'm like, I have something for you. I couldn't wait, but no, I'm usually waiting till December. Every year I say I'm gonna do it early, but I don't know. I have good plans. My plans are bigger than my actions, I think, on a lot of things.
I need to start thinking about the holidays. I haven't at all.
Yeah. And I'm gonna see you this coming month.
Oh yes.
Well, I'm gonna
So
see you
soon.
twice.
Yes,
Well,
October and
in
November.
November, yeah.
Mhm.
So that'll be, are you guys getting excited for your trip?
So excited.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
that's good.
Yeah. And we're
Yeah,
gonna see Dawn.
I know. I left her a message the other day on Facebook, but I never, I didn't go back and check it, which is so bad. And that notifications come through and I miss them. And it's like, oh, 3 weeks later, I'll see it and go, oh shit. Oh,
Well, your Facebook moves fast. There's always lots going on there.
yes. Yeah, you guys keep it all jumping. I love it. I love it. Lots of fun stuff for people to do.
Yep.
Sorry about my sniffles. I still have sniffles. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Air
From the
conditioning.
shot.
What? Oh, it
Boosting
got
from the
way worse
boosting.
from the shot, but it was it's whenever there's air conditioning on, it instantly just starts, and right before we went on live, I turned the air conditioner so it would come on, and now I can feel it just blocking up. So it doesn't matter if it's here at my house or in a restaurant or whatever, it just does the same thing. So, but I got the COVID booster, the second one, on Thursday. And it was like 2:00 in the afternoon when I got the shot. And I would say by 8:00 that night, I was done. I was in bed till this morning, Thursday till Saturday. So that is not a good shot for me. I don't know. I haven't heard other people saying they got sick from it, but I did. I mean, it was the exact same thing. Fever, flu, headache. I'm like, I think I have COVID. But
Oh.
yeah, but then it was gone. So luckily it's gone, but I had to boost up for the signings. I don't want to come home with that.
Yeah, I need to get mine too. But I haven't even been paying attention, like you said, if it's available to everyone or not.
Yeah, yeah. And I know they just reformulated it too. So I think everywhere has that one. So the guy's like, do you want a flu shot? I'm like, no, I don't know if I'll make it out of this one. I don't
Yeah.
be sick in bed all the time. I did that already in my life. I'm done with that. I'm not doing that anymore.
Okay,
So,
well, our guest is here if you're ready for
right.
me to introduce.
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm
Okay.
ready.
I think as soon as I start, you're going to know who it is. So let's see. As soon as you know, just yell it out. Tonight's guest has performed in over 700 audiobooks since his first title in 2012. An eclectic storyteller and broadly talented actor, his narration spans nearly every subgenre from the sweet to the salty and has been recognized with numerous awards, including over a dozen audiophile earphones awards, multiple independent audiobook awards, and several SOVA and APA Audi Award nominations. He also has an online fan group, over 1,000 members strong. If you'd like to join, it's called Totally Teddy. Please welcome Teddy Hamilton.
How fun. Hey, how are you? Oh, not connected yet. TikTok.
So obviously we're doing it a little different tonight. It's not an author, but still,
Yeah.
very relevant for readers and
I was
fans and
just
everything.
listening to him before we started this on my drive down here.
Really?
It's always going on in my car. Are you with it? There you
Hello,
are.
am I here?
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's nice to meet you finally.
I know. We've done a couple books together.
We have. I was just listening to one of them on my drive into I do this from my day job office because the internet at my house is not good. It doesn't hold up. So I always come down here. But yeah, it's always audiobooks for me. I'm a junkie.
That's fun.
Yeah,
Hey, how's it going?
it's
I just
going
got-
good.
I believe I just got I have coming up very shortly another in the Sharks series.
Yep. There
I'm
we
about
go.
to do that. Yeah.
That's exciting. So this behind you is your booth, huh?
This is my booth. This is also my I hate my booth
Timeout
because
chamber.
it lost a thing, but yeah, that's where I spend all my life, all
Yeah.
day, every
Yeah.
day.
What is that like? Do you get like antsy, like you want to be around people more, or are you good with that? Or
I suppose I could be antsy, but this is going to sound like such a commercial thought, but it really is true, which is what I do is I read books. So
Right.
I'm rarely in the booth. Like when sometimes I train other narrators,
Mhm.
and the thing I always say is like, get out of the booth. Like you shouldn't, when you're in there reading the story, you should be, in that scene where the son is admitting to the father that he did something wrong, whatever. Like that's where you should be. If you're thinking about the microphone that's right in front of your face, or if you're thinking about like those weird noises that are happening in your mouth or whatever, all of that stuff just detracts from what you then should be doing, which is you should be a young boy who's scared to speak with his father because his father's so mean, or whatever the heck the story's about. That's where you should be. So this is where I do it, but
it's really,
yeah, I'm always somewhere else actually.
yeah.
And it's interesting.
I
I
was
will
just-
say, sorry.
Go ahead.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. No, I have a terrible habit of starting to talk when someone else is still finishing their sentence.
No, I have a terrible thing where I never finish my sentences. My sentences always bleed into whatever my next sentence is.
Yeah.
I have recently, over the past maybe year or so, felt a little isolated because I also moved to a new city. And so like, the guys who on Friday nights I go, I'm out of the booth, let's go grab a beer or something.
Right.
I'm not around anybody. So there's a little bit of that.
Right.
But I just got involved in the theater here.
Oh yeah.
I just did The Music Man recently.
Oh, fun.
Kind of funny. Yeah.
God, I saw that a long time ago. Whew. I saw that
Yes.
on Broadway, actually.
Did you?
Yeah. I used to live on the East Coast. I mean, I was, born and raised there in Pennsylvania. So we used to go into New York all the time and see shows.
Where are you now? If you
I
don't mind
mean,
me.
Southern California.
Oh, you're in California? Oh
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just moved to Ojai. I'm in Ojai area.
Oh, I'm in Temecula.
Okay. Yeah. I know that area. My
Yeah.
best friend just got married in Temecula.
Yeah, there's a lot of real pretty wineries that do a lot of really pretty weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started out in San Diego, which I love San Diego. And when, my husband and I wanted to start a family, we moved up here because we could not afford anything in San Diego at the time, and
Yeah.
So here we are though, almost 30 years later.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So the city's changed a lot, in that time. It was a one-horse town, no joke. And
I
now
bet.
it's,
Yeah.
huge suburbs. So yeah, we love it here though. It was a good place to pick to raise the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, let me ask you a question. This thing that we are doing right now.
Yeah.
What you do this often?
I do it once a month. and it's the mystery author chat. And I honestly did not know who was coming on here. I don't know. It's all a surprise. And then it's like, here's a person, start talking to them. So I have the gift of gab. And so I can talk to, a blank wall for an hour. It's fine. And so,
Sounds familiar.
yeah, that's it. It just, the person comes on and we start chatting. Of course, I've been writing 12 years, 10 years, something like that. And so I know a lot of people, that end up coming on, and it ends up, a lot of the viewers say, this is like, eavesdropping on you guys talking, just having coffee and talking. So
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
it's fun. So we'll do a little bit back and forth, just you and me, and then Megan takes questions while the readers are putting them in, because I don't see anything. I don't see anything on my screen right now except for you and Megan, and that way I don't get distracted. I am terrible with distractions. I was telling Megan before you came on, I don't know how we were talking about reading. I cannot read out loud, like to an audience. Oh, they had to read excerpts from their book. And I said, I would die, because I can read, obviously, and I can pronounce words. But in my head, I'm like heckling myself. Like, what did you just say? Oh, that's not how you pronounce it, and so it's all this going on at one time. I cannot do it. You guys, I don't know how you do it.
But that's the thing, there's a big narrator named Sean, I can't remember his name, but he's somebody who, that's one of the things he always says. You think you want to be a narrator, huh? The first thing to do is sit down in like a sealed up space and just read a book out loud and imagine that somebody's listening to you. And like, again, sort of in the same way where I say, like, don't think about the fact that you're in a booth. Don't think about the fact that you're, there's a microphone right in front of you.
Right.
The other thing is, don't think about all the people who are going to be like, I'm actually saying this wrong, because I do think about who's listening.
Right.
I imagine that it's an audience, but I'm also an actor. I've been performing on stage since I was like 4 years old. So I think about, is that clear to them, to the listener?
Right.
Did they just feel something? Did they catch what I was floating out there?
Right.
But if you're thinking about, if you have like a critic in your mind criticizing everything that you do,
right.
You can say it better than that. Oh, that's not good. Do that again. Then you're never going to get anywhere.
Right.
It'll take you 2 weeks to record 1 hour of finished audio, because you'll just spend the whole time judging yourself. And like, you need to have a director in your mind saying, go back and you can make that clearer. Yes, you can make that land a little bit stronger, but you don't want to have a critic in there who's going to just make fun of you and tell you that you're not good enough.
Right.
Because that's all you'll hear.
So
it's probably the same in everything.
I'm guessing that gets easier, or like you get better at that, being your own director, hearing your own stage cues and all that as time goes on. Like, do you listen to something you recorded when you were first starting and hear something now and be like, wow, I really have gotten better?
Yes and no, because also there's only 7 stories that the world can ever tell, or whatever that thing is. That I get. The thing that I struggle with now, I have, I don't know, probably close to 800 audiobooks that I've narrated between Teddy and me. But the problem is that I have to still kind of approach a book like it's the first book.
Sure.
Like it's the first time, even if I've seen these scenarios play out before, or if I've played them, it's unique to this particular book. It's unique to these particular characters, and I need to give it. And when I was younger, like, I used to cry a lot more when I was reading books.
Yeah.
I would start sobbing, and 2 things happen. One, I think that the crying can also interfere with the mic technique of like making sure that I'm clear. You don't want to hear somebody sobbing while you're reading.
Like I've been.
But also I think I've run into so many tear-jerking moments that then, like, now I'm like, it doesn't affect me as much.
Yeah.
Which then I think I lose something to be honest. I think I lose something as a narrator, and so there's a part of me that when I listen to younger me, apart from the fact that my voice has changed, also I read so many alphas that my voice has gotten deeper.
Yeah. You just
But
start
also,
talking like that to people and order at the drive-through. I want
yeah.
to.
But there's also an element where I fear that I need to reinvest in my roots of the storytelling that maybe I've lost over the years. Not that I still give every book that I can my attention, but it's
Right.
I do feel like that freshness that I would bring to books before might have dwindled over the past year. So I mean over the past 10 years that I've been doing this.
Right.
But so maybe I'd say probably I've started thinking about this maybe in the past year or so of like, you know what? You're starting to breeze through things a little bit too easily. And like
Right.
when you do that, then the book itself, I don't think it suffers a lot because, you know, most of the work I think is on you guys, the authors, to like, you know, tell a good story. And I
Right,
need to
right.
make sure that I meet you where you're at. But I think there's some extraness that I can add to making a thing come alive that I think is important, that I've been watching myself to make sure that I can still do that.
Right, right. It is magical as the author. I don't know how you do it, honestly. Like in my head, I'm thinking something, I write a, smart little side remark, whatever. And you're right there with it. You pick it up, you deliver it the way I heard it. And I'm like, how did he know that? Like, because
Yeah.
maybe the words could have been said a different way and it would have had a whole different meaning, but you haven't missed it
Well,
yet. You know what I
that's-
mean?
I
And
think-
it's like, it's so neat. It's so neat. I'm like, okay, he gets it. He gets
Well,
it. Everyone else
the
must get
best
it.
thing. That's the best thing you could say to me, to be honest. Like I've gotten that compliment from a couple of different authors that I've spoken with, where
Yeah.
they say those words. They say, "Oh, you just get it." And I think the only thing that I can think is that when I'm reading a book, I'm thinking also about like story structure. I'm thinking about how these things will inform us about who this character is.
Right.
And I think, you know, my mom and my great grandmother was a writer too. She wrote a bunch of stuff that she was like a Newbery Award winning author.
Oh yeah.
Like a long time ago, but still.
Yeah.
And I think there must be some kind of writerly intuition in my family that like I got from my mom. I always say my mom because my mom's a writer too.
Right.
I'm looking at the book also, you know, like they always say, I always say this, I came up with this a long time ago, but I say, when you're narrating, you are acting, but you're also reading someone a book. And so you have to know that the book is written a certain way, and that there's a person who wrote it a certain way, and they chose all of these things on purpose. So then you have to be paying attention to that. If you're just acting, then you're just like, I'm in love, whatever, you know, you're just tossing it out all over, whatever it means to you. But it's just what it means to you, actually, Victoria Blue.
Right.
And so I have to bring whatever I understand about love, not just from my own life, but from other people's lives, from stories I've heard, from other books I've read, to understand where Victoria Blue is at when she's writing this moment.
Right.
And so that then I can read your book.
Yeah.
So
do you ever want to write? Have you written anything? Does that interest you at all? I see a lot of people, I've seen cover models start writing. I've seen other narrators start writing. Is it ever something you feel like doing?
Yes. Yes, I do. I'm very interested in writing. I would say, I don't know how to do that. Like the way I had to just like, anytime I ever sit down to write something, it's like pulling teeth, man. Like, and all the things that you think, oh, it's so brilliant in your head. Once you put it onto paper, you know,
okay, it's not, that's fine.
You're like, this isn't good at all. And I always think about this when I talk to friends who are maybe like upset about something, and whatever's going on in their head is so much more intense, and there's so much more meaning and thoughts to it, that then once you put it into words, you see how like basic it is,
Right.
how basic your feelings are, and then that helps you get through your feelings.
It does. It does.
But
And
on-
it
but
keeps you in check too. Like, okay, not perspective, but where if it's a problem, where that's at compared to everyone else. You're going to put it out and then you see the reaction of everyone. They're like, really? For
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But so
Yeah.
then put that into writing terms, and it's like brilliant. This is going to be a Pulitzer Prize winning
Yeah.
story here. Is suddenly like, oh no, this is
Mary had a little lamb. There you go.
yeah, totally. No, but if you think about it, she had a little lamb.
It was small.
It was small. Its fleece was white as snow.
Crying. It was
Yeah.
white. So funny.
Yeah,
Oh man. This is a great surprise, Megan. You got me good this time.
Well, the questions are really coming in. Are you ready to start with some questions?
Let's go for it.
Lots of questions for Teddy.
I liked the maniacal laughter just now, Megan. That was good.
That's
Good,
her
thank
laugh
you.
too. It's so funny.
Okay, Teddy, which has been your favorite series of books to narrate? From Kelly.
You know what? That's a tough one.
Out of 800, how do you even pick?
Yeah, you know, there's a bunch that I think stand out in like where they were in my life. Do you know what I mean? That's
Right.
like, you always remember that book that you were reading right when
Sure.
because probably it always still comes down to Him and Us with Jacob Morgan and Teddy Hamilton, just because that was such a like corner turning book for me, for my career, for like my life, and everything just really started there, I think, for me. And like I have a very good relationship with Serena Bowen.
It's an excellent book. I actually heard you say that answer on another interview. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
You were with 3 people. I can't remember what it was, but I went and got the book and listened to it.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's just such a sweet book. And like I went on to then do a bunch of books with Serena after that has been fun. But that was, you know, it was something that also I think put Teddy on the map a little bit. And so I went from doing this in my spare time to then like really investing in doing this.
Right.
And then that has turned out to become my job.
Right.
Before I was doing it whenever I was off work, you
Right.
know, and now, so it's hard for me to separate that.
Right.
There's also, I think as a genre, romance has also changed my life. And there's like a weird part of me. This is like superstition, I think, but there are these times when I'm reading a book and the book that I'm reading directly addresses like a fight that I'm having with my wife or something, and I go like, what? Like who's listening to me? Who's paying attention now? And I think that that's the power of romance, where it's also just, it's about this part of our lives that we deal with daily, you know, that's so
Does
important.
it help you? I mean, you're in a female mind way more than most men because you're reading material that women put out and thoughts of women. Does that help in your relationship? Do you feel like you can relate to women better or easier because you're like, I know where this is going. I know exactly what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, you know, my father was never one for being a super like masculine man.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother was one of my biggest influences growing up.
Mm-hmm. So
I think, like, to be honest, the jokes that me and my wife have all the time is that I'm the girl in the relationship. She's the guy. So then like I find myself actually probably more like arguing points that I'm like, our roles are reversed here. Like this would be what the female MC would be doing, would be saying to the male, and the shit you're saying is the things that the male would be saying. You know?
Right.
So, but yes, it does. to your point though, it does broaden my horizons a lot, because there's plenty of, I'm a guy in the end, but it does open my mind to a way at looking at people more as people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, to where if somebody's acting crazy, my thoughts aren't, you're acting crazy and I need to stop you from acting crazy. There's like a part of me that's instead like, I guess I understand why you're acting crazy. Like, I'm sorry that this is happening to you, which I
And
guess
and the writer brain
Yeah.
goes, why are you acting crazy?
yeah, why are you acting
Tell me
crazy?
about it.
Yeah.
Megan, what else you got?
And that was a long answer. So that's
I know.
all.
Well, this
those are
is
my
what,
favorite books that
yeah,
I've
this
read.
is what will happen. Like, she'll
Yes.
ask us something and then we'll go on a tangent and, but that's what makes it fun.
Okay. Teddy Kelly wants to know, how did you get into narration? What are the best parts and what are the worst parts?
So I got into narration through my sister, because my sister does narration as well. Check out Emily Iden on Audible. She just was doing it, and then the producers saw me do something once, and they said, "Oh, you should do it too." And so then I started doing it. I think the hardest part of it is, I think, kind of what we were talking about, which is the isolation a little bit. There's a lot of, and also because I'm working on my own, like I don't have a boss. That's great. That's a great feeling. I've done lots of jobs where I had bosses and it sucked, and I had to be somewhere at a specific time and do all that stuff. But it kind of feels like I'm just always working. And I think probably there's plenty of narrators who don't have the influx of work that I have. I work a lot, but I also work Monday through Monday.
Right.
And I think that's a little hard, just because, you got to have your life too. You have to have life.
Burnout's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and maybe I see people who get burned out even doing this. I think the problem is that I don't get burnt out because I like reading.
Right.
I like these books. I like reading these books. I like acting. It's a fun thing for me to do.
I
It's
think
just,
if you like it, anything, whatever it is, you like it, you're happy, you're doing it, go do it.
yeah.
Go do it. You know what I mean? You'll know when it's time.
Yeah. The problem is just that if you're good at it, which I think I'm pretty
Really
good
good
at
at it. Just say it. It's okay.
then I have, I have like 30 clients or something that send me work all the time, and everybody's
Right.
kind of, and so like I'm scheduled right now. I'm booking in April of 2023, so it's like there's a little bit of, I'm trying specifically in 2023 to like schedule in weekends for myself.
Right.
But then if somebody comes along, if Victoria Blue tomorrow comes around and says, "Hey, I really want you to read this other book," I'll be like, "Well, I don't have the time." All right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Okay, Teddy, Cookie wants to know, do you sing?
Cookie? Is this Cookie?
Yes, it's Cookie.
What's up, Cookie?
She said, do you sing? That was her question.
Oh. Do I
Do you
sing?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm about to, I shouldn't even tell you guys this. All right, I'll tell you guys this.
All right.
I just got cast in my local theater, just like in my community theater here. I just got cast to play Buddy in Elf the Musical, which is based off of that Will Ferrell movie.
Yes, how funny.
Oh my gosh, that's so
And
cool.
so there's lots and lots of singing to be had. So
Oh, how funny.
yeah.
Do you enjoy comedy?
I love comedy. Yeah, comedy's I've said this before also on some things, but I used to do clown work. Like I used to do clown things. Yeah. Like,
how fun.
Not like party clown, not like circus clown, but just like theater clown, which is,
Right.
but it's still clown. It's still big red nose and
Yeah.
like all about funny, just all about comedy. And I think it's more fun to be ridiculous than it is to take yourself too seriously.
Right.
You know,
I'm kind of wishing you said circus clown, because we'd gone into a whole other conversation.
I mean, I knew
Imagine the
there's
life
people
of a
who
circus clown.
Oh my God. There was people that I did clown with who then went on to do Barnum and Bailey's. But I just never did that because I've never really invested in being a clown as my
Right.
job. I've just
Yeah.
performed in clown stuff.
I'm a
like that.
clown. Yeah, a lot of people around here say that. You're a clown. Oh my gosh. It looks dangerous too. I mean, they do some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You got to. And if you fail, the better.
Even though you're bleeding on the floor, no one knows they're far away, but
As long
Yeah.
as they're laughing. That's the
Yeah.
only thing.
anything for a laugh.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Cookie. She knows. She knows.
She knows.
Okay, Karen wants to know, Teddy, do you have any book signings in 2022 or 23?
I'm going to Love in Vegas at the end of October.
I'll see you there.
Are you going? Are you gonna be there? Great.
Yeah.
Let's take a picture.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm
Okay,
just
Becky-
talking.
I did the last one. Were you at you were at the last one, I think.
I was at the last Love in
The
Vegas.
one in Vegas that Ellie did.
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
It happens in this room too, Megan.
Oh my goodness.
But look how quick it came on. Never
Oh,
mind.
good.
Just kidding. The lights are on a motion sensor, and if it goes too long, then it shuts off. But
Oh, how funny. You have to just every once in a while throw your hands around.
Do the
Yeah, I
Okay.
went to the last Love in Vegas, and I also went to Philadelphia, Philly,
Oh yeah.
Indies in Philly. What's that one called? I forget what it's called. Phillies. Love in Philly. No.
No, but I know what you're talking about. I
Indies in
remember
Philly
seeing-
or something.
Yeah, it was something about indie something in Philly.
Yeah.
That's
Philly
where I
indie.
grew up, in that part of the world. But California is where I belong. Philly. No offense, Philly. Just doesn't fit.
Okay. Becky wants to know, Teddy, how do you get prepped for a new narration? Anything you do beforehand, like voice warm-ups?
I should. One thing that if you've followed Teddy Hamilton's career at all, if you listen to Teddy Hamilton books, you know that there's also this like Teddy scratchiness that happens where when I get like sometimes halfway through a book, my voice will suddenly start getting really scratchy. And what I've realized is that it's because I'm dehydrated. So one of the things that I do as specific prep to make sure that I'm physically able to perform is I make sure that I'm drinking all the time. Cause like if I drink in the mornings, it's not going to help my voice later that same day. I need to have like been drinking starting the night before
Right.
water to stay hydrated so that then my voice can stay.
I don't think people understand the stress on your voice from talking that much.
Yeah.
Even if you were having a conversation and not, doing different inflections and all that, just conversation for 8 hours,
Yeah.
brutal. So hard.
There's times when I'll take a break and I'll have a phone conversation with like a friend or somebody. And when I go back in, I'm like, oh shit, like my voice is suddenly all scratchy. That's just from me talking on the phone for like, it'd be like if I had a long phone conversation.
Right.
And I suddenly go, God damn, I just ruined my voice for the rest of the day. That happens quite a bit. But I think what I found is that just making hydration an important part of my everyday, all the time, improves my voice and the stamina and all that.
Interesting.
Mm.
All right, next one. Becky wants to know, even though you're reading in a booth, do you ever get nervous? If so, how do you deal with it?
I do get nervous. It's not being in the booth doesn't get me nervous anymore. It's when, like what we're talking about, Victoria, where if I don't know what the author's doing, if I can't track why something's happening, but I feel like it's important, then I get really stuck in my head about it because I need to I want to figure it out before I record it and sometimes what that means is that then I'll go back and be like, I think I need to start this whole scene again because I don't feel like I'm giving it what it needs. And
Do you
I
read books first and then start on them, or do you just do it
when I
while
read,
you're doing it?
no, I don't read the books in a thorough. What I do is I go through and I mark the books out,
Right.
and I will breeze through what's the general vibe, but the work doesn't happen. The work happens when I'm doing it.
Right.
So that's when I'm piecing the book together, is when I'm recording it. But I will go through the book to make sure that I don't want there to be any surprises.
Right.
If I know that there's some hidden bad guy, and we don't know who the bad guy is, I want to know who the bad guy is before I start the book.
Right.
It's things like that. Because I don't want to like get myself into a situation where I go, God damn it, this guy, I did it all wrong,
Right.
and I have to go back. There's still times though when even if I know what's happening, where I'll feel like I didn't quite do it right. But for the most part, the author, tell me if I'm wrong here, for the most part, you are bleeding information the way you want it to be bled out. So then I
Right.
want to process that information at the same level that it's being presented to the reader.
Right.
It's just, but there's just certain tricky things that I want to know beforehand.
Right.
So if I when I'm looking through it, so I don't usually read the books thoroughly before I
Right.
start, but when I'm breezing through, if I start to go like, I still don't have a grasp on what this thing is,
Right.
then I'll
Right.
read it a little bit more just to make sure that I have all those answers answered in my head before I start. But otherwise, I just write it. I write it along with the reader, along with the writer.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me. I don't
There's
know.
all sorts of different
Freaks
ways.
me out a little bit.
My sister, when she goes through it, she'll mark. I don't know if she still does this. I just know she used to do this, and I like making fun of her about it. She'd go through and mark where she's going to take a breath.
Oh, wow. See,
That's
that's
how, like,
sounds
thorough.
like the difference between, you've heard authors say pantsing and plotting, where the plotting, people who plot, it's like that, where you have everything and each scene is going to have these 3 hits in it, and then we're going on and on and on. And then pantsers just write, just write, and so it's the same thing, but from a
Yeah,
narrator.
Yeah. I think if I did do writing, I feel like the way that my brain works is that I would be a plotter, which is funny because I'm probably more of a pantser when it comes
I
to
started
memorizing.
as a plotter and turned into a pantser.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's fun.
So because even though I made peace with the plot can always change, it's organic, it'll change as the characters, do whatever they're going to do. I still felt really boxed in. And so I started just, let's give it a try, just going for it, but
Yeah.
I hate the same part in every book, like in the process where I go, what in the hell is happening in this story right now?
Yeah.
Because, so many things have come together to that point where they all meet, and then you're like, boom, and you got to bring everybody and get out the door. But that moment is bad at my house.
So then we get nervous.
That's when I call Megan and go, this book sucks. I hate it. I hate this book.
Happening?
Okay, Teddy, did you always want to do audiobooks, or did you want to do something else for a living?
I would never have even thought of audiobooks growing up. Like, I always knew I wanted to be an actor, and I did that for a long time. I got an agent when I was 11 years old, and I used to I was on a million commercials all the time, and I would be like little bit parts on TV shows and stuff here and there. I did a couple of TV shows also. I was on 3 different TV shows for Discovery and Disney and ABC. But then that's a terrible job. It really is, because the joke. What are you hiding from?
I don't know. What were you doing? Is Moose there?
My leg is under me because I'm sitting on the bed and it started
Uh-huh.
falling asleep. So I had to
Oh.
like move a certain way to get out. Sorry,
I
didn't
was
mean
like,
to be
what's going on?
distracting.
But I started to leave acting on camera for I left it for several years because it's just your job is to go to job interviews, and you basically would just get auditions, and I would audition like twice a week, and I lived in Long Beach, but I would have to drive to Santa Monica at 3 p.m. or something, and that's like horrible traffic, so I'd just like sit in traffic all day long, or I'd anyway, it was just like it was a terrible job because most of the job is just going and asking, hey, can you give me this job?
Right.
But then I just left it because I was like, because I was tired of working part-time jobs that were fluid enough that I could say, hey, can you cover me on my shift? I got an audition tomorrow for whatever. And the hassle of that was just miserable. So I said, I'm just going to get a regular job. And so then I worked a little bit in film on the production side of it because my cousin does art department work, and I could do some of that. And I eventually got into construction, which was actually wonderful. I loved that job.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I had to be there at 6 a.m. to start doing some kind of horrible stuff. But that job, I wasn't like
Some
building
kind of horrible
houses.
stuff.
No, well, it wasn't. I didn't have to build house. I wasn't building houses or buildings. I was working for an installation company. So a lot of it was like puzzles, trying to figure out puzzles and like, how are we going to install this thing in this particular space? And it was fun. It was cool. And I worked a lot in theaters and at like with their rigging systems for the curtains that go up and down.
Oh yeah.
Or for theme parks. Like I worked at Disneyland for a while, and I worked at Universal Studios a lot. If you ever go to the Harry Potter world,
Yeah.
at Universal Studios, you can't walk 5 feet without me being able to go like, I put that thing in, I put that thing in, I ran the crew that put that thing in. It's like, it was fun work. But then the audiobooks just started happening, and after a while, just the money's better doing audiobooks than it is doing construction. And
Right.
when I was starting to learn how to do rope access work, which is something that like people die doing. And so then when I realized like the money's better and I get to act for a living, it's better to do audiobooks. And so eventually there was like this brief period of time when I was doing both because I hadn't quite left that job, but my audiobook work was starting to pick up more to where I was like working like obscene hours. Like I would like work from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then I'd go home and like rest for 2 seconds, and I'd get back in the booth and work from like 5 until like midnight or something like that, reading books. But I knew it was bad because I knew that what I was doing was I was transferring. So I couldn't drop this one completely yet until this picked up more. But so there was this time where then there was too much, but then I knew.
You remember that moment when you said, I'm done. I'm stopping and I'm just going to do audiobooks. And it was I'm assuming a big decision to make.
Yeah, I do.
That seems like a defining moment.
It is a defining moment. It was something I think I do these things because I don't want to let the people down. I don't want to let my crews down. I don't want to let my bosses down at the construction world. But I know that this is what I want to do. And I know that I can make a better life doing this. So then it became sort of a matter of me telling them like, well, I don't know. I don't think I can take this next install job on because I have a lot of work, but I can still help.
Right.
Something.
I can consult. Yeah.
Do you know what the big moment was they at the old construction job, they had just decided to start putting out benefits for the crews where they were going to offer health insurance.
Right.
And I told them I get my health insurance through SAG because I was already making enough audiobooks that I could get my health insurance through SAG. And I said, nah, so I don't need your health insurance.
Right.
Thanks, but no thanks. And there was kind of like a, and they made me fill out a thing talking about like what money I made or something. I forget what it was, but I remember I had to write out something for them. I forget what it was, but it was like, if you make more money at some other job or something, then it would somehow affect it. And I remember filling it out and like looking at the numbers. And when I looked at the numbers, I was like, I'm already making more money doing this other stuff than this. And I'm about to hand this to my bosses who like would give me shit because I wanted like a 25-cent raise, you know? And so then suddenly I'm handing in like, here's the real money that I'm making. So tell me again how I need to like invest more in this company.
Right.
And I think that then they went, oh, okay. All right, I see. And I was like, anyway, see you later.
Can you believe it is already 9:53 here? So
That's
6:53.
crazy.
So we'll take one more question and then we'll do a Victoria's giveaway.
All
I
right.
really like this question from Ronielle. Teddy, what's the best
Ronielle.
meaning? Yes, you know her.
Yes, I do.
What's the best meaningful comment you've gotten regarding your work?
You know, that's hard because I really do specifically try to avoid it because I hear horror stories of people who read the comments on things and they really hurt people's feelings, you know?
Yeah.
And like reviews and things. And I don't want to read reviews on things for two real main reasons. Because one is I don't want to hear somebody chew me apart because I know there's plenty. It's nice to hear that people like listening to me, and it's nice to hear, you know, what you were saying, Victoria, when other authors tell me that I get it or something. That's a very good feeling. But I know for a fact, because I'm paying attention to what I'm doing also, that there's plenty of times when I fall short of good. There's plenty of times. And I don't want to accidentally catch the review that says that. And like, it'll distract me, I think. But in the same way, good reviews will also distract me because I don't want to what do you call it? Like, I don't want to believe the hype. I don't want to believe that I am good, I guess. I don't want to believe it because then I might get lazy with it.
Yep.
I might get complacent. So so I'm actually, and I'm sorry if people have said really nice things in reviews and they would hope that I would read it, but I avoid it for those reasons. One is that I don't want to get, there's self-preservation, but also I want to stay in a place where I'm hungry for excellence, if that makes sense. I want to stay in a place where I always need to prove that I am good, so that then if I start to believe that I'm good, then what do I need to prove anymore? Right. So then and I see other people, other people who can maybe say, they'll like anything I do, kind of thing. I know that exists, and I don't want to be that. So I just don't want to. I don't want to hear good or bad. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. And like, I think maybe I missed something by doing that, you know. But at the same time, I think what I gain is probably better. I hope. Who knows? Maybe I'm blind.
And you know, like, because you're working so much and you're getting, you know, contracts over and over and over again, that it's a positive. The positive is outweighing the negative.
Yeah.
I definitely have to be in the right headspace to read reviews. Like, I have to read, if I'm going to read them, I have got to be like laughing at it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Sometimes people, you know, they get personal and it's like, you don't even know me. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
But they do know you. but they do know you, Victoria, because
And you.
what you write is a part
Is
of
my
you.
life.
That's you. You're putting
Yeah.
yourself out there into the world.
People say that to
So,
my
like-
husband. Are these sex scenes about your life? And I'm like, why would you? No, it's not what I'm doing. I'm sitting in my bedroom going, and then, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
come
yeah.
on. It's
What-
imagine that. Why do people think that? It's funny.
I think it's good, but that's also, I think, why I like going to like things like Love in Vegas, is because then I can like meet people like Rynell or like Cookie here, and like talk to them. I had somebody, I won't say her name, but at Indies Invade Philly, that's what it was. I had somebody who like told me real point blank something about the way that I narrate, and I remember going like, huh, that kind of hurt a little bit actually, but she's not wrong. Like, she's not wrong about that. And so I hear it, and like other people at the bar that we were
Right.
at were like, don't say, like, shut up, like, stop saying that. And like they wanted to like get her to, like, she was being mean to me, but I was like, no, like, you spoke to me very plainly about something that you've actually been paying attention to, and like, I appreciate that. That's good feedback. That's workable feedback that I can take and
Right.
see where it applies. I think that's good. But like, the just sort of the big broad open review world, you don't know what you're going to get.
Right. And people can be nasty, and I don't understand why. Like, what's the payoff there? But
Well, they care, I think, don't they? They care about what we do, and it's that's the other thing, is I do feel a certain responsibility. That's the other thing that I like. I want to do good because there's people who care about it, and I want to make sure that I'm taking that seriously. That's the thing that some people, when you get into some of these books that are more darker romances, or that have more controversial subject matters in them, there's some people I know who go like, oh, just like, it's so hard, just turn your brain off and go through it, and just like get yourself through the book. And I go like, I don't think that that's what it is, because I always say, somebody wrote this book, and somebody is going to read this book, and the person who wrote this book wrote it for a reason, and the person who's going to read this book is going to read it for a reason. And so if they're going to listen to it, then I have to take responsibility for this.
Right.
Otherwise, don't do the book at all.
right.
You know.
To me, just listening to you talk, it's like you probably had a lot of literature in your whole life. Like, it was a big part of your life, because you see books as so much more than, some people just go, it's a book, and other people are like, it's a book. You know what I mean? And I feel like you're the second one, where you really appreciate everything that went into the book, where the author was at, where a reader will be, everything. It's just, it's
Well, they're like little myths almost. It's this story of, there's a reason why we're telling the story of this guy and this girl, and that has to do with the way that this guy is, and the way that this girl is, and the way that they react to their environment and to each other. There's a reason for all of those things.
Right.
That then hopefully the author has chosen those things to put together and to create a story around these people for a reason, that hopefully a reader is going to come away with something, as opposed to just mindless entertainment.
right. That is the point of it all.
That's the point.
So good though, talking to you. What a great night for me.
Yeah, we should hang out. Let's hang out in Love in Vegas. I'll
Definitely.
find you. I'll find you and I'll come by.
And we do that. Are you going to do the Friday night thing? They do that meet and greet on Friday night?
Yeah. Definitely.
I'll check you out.
Sounds good.
Well, we didn't get to all the questions, but we got to a lot of them. So Victoria, tonight you're going to do 2 giveaways, right?
Yes.
One mug and one book, and it will be the reader's choice.
Yes.
So Amy helped me choose the winners tonight. For the mug, it's going to be Kimberly. For the book, it's going to be Catherine. So Amy or I, one of us,
Awesome.
will reach out and get all your information
Yeah.
so that you can send them. But thank you so much, Teddy, for joining us. Amy and I were like, oh my gosh, Victoria's going to freak out. She's going to be so excited.
Oh, I was
Was
nervous
it everything you hoped it would be?
and more. Definitely. Yeah. What a joy talking to you. Thank you so much for spending some time here.
Of course, yeah.
And thank you for
so
narrating my
much.
books.
Yep, I'm going into a new one coming up soon. I think I
I can't
record it
wait.
next weekend or next week actually.
Awesome. That's good.
That's so
We,
exciting.
we complete the journey of Elijah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm already on to the next guy.
I will
You know
say
it goes.
I wanted to make fun of Grant Twombly. I loved Twombly.
Twombly. And when because Erin did those first one and she was saying Toombly, and I'm like,
Oh, really?
where'd you get that? I guess because two is spelled TWO, that makes sense, but I just didn't think of it like that.
Yeah.
Coming up with character names is difficult, you know, the last names, because, you know, at this point in my life, I feel like I've met a lot of people and, you know, it ends up being somebody's name. We named a guy in one of the Secrets of Stone. His last name was the last name of a fan, a really big fan, you know, and I had to go talk to her like, hey, listen, this guy's really bad. Do you mind if I give him your last name? I wrote it, and then Angel said, you can't do that. And she was fine. She thought it was great. So it was all good. But
oh yeah, if I was I would want, I don't care what part, it'd just be cool to be a part of it.
yeah. So anyway, thank you everyone for coming. Thanks, Megan. Megan looks like a
Thank
Stroh's.
you,
No,
Yeah, thank you,
Teddy.
Megan. Megan
All
PA.
All right,
talk to you guys
next
later.
time. Bye.
Bye.
See you later.